Aloha, everybody, and welcome to part 6 of Banjo-Kazooie. So as we enter Bubblegloop Swamp, I'm going to take a little backwards turn and go here to find the one and only move available to Banjo and Kazooie in this world. This isn't a move you can pull off whenever you want, wherever you want. This only gives you access to a particular item, and that item being the wading boots. The wading boots allow you to walk around in areas you wouldn't normally, and Bubblegloop Swamp is a place filled with piranha-filled water. Meaning, you want to stay on the higher platforms, you want to make sure that you don't go into the water because the piranhas will come and bite at Banjo's poor little paws. My filthy bed gives me a rash, I never wash, I save my cash. God damn it, Gruntilda, I do not want to know! Is Gruntilda not the most disgusting villain in the history of video games, or am I wrong? Is there another person who just outranks her in awful filthiness? I mean, Jesus Christ. She's apparently a stripper. Her bed is filthy and it gives her a rash. I mean, oh my god. It's just gross. And this isn't even the half of it. What you learn about her hair and what she does, and it's just like, oh god. Anyway, I left the world prematurely because I wanted to make things easier coming later. This is the Freezy Peak puzzle. I already have enough jiggies to open it. So, when we have to move on to that world, we'll be more than ready. But, going up this ice area here, I'm going to destroy this ice block. And that way, it will be available for me later. I can't go in this tunnel yet. Maybe I have to transform through the use of a pink shaman named Mumbo Jumbo, who may transform Banjo and Kazooie into an animal who can't break ice chunks. So, I'm just breaking the ice chunk now so that I might get to it later. I planned this whole route out, guys, you know? I strategized. I strategized how I was going to operate this playthrough, so as to make things quicker and simpler. And, you know, more convenient for the players when they actually play Banjo-Kazooie. Because if you haven't played this game, well, get on it. I don't care if you don't have an N64 or an Xbox 360. Find a way! Find a way, damn it! Any of these yellow crocodiles are known as Croctus, and we have to put an egg into each one of their mouths, and then we're going to get a jiggy piece. And every time you feed one, another one pops up, and you just want to keep following them. Had to be silent because I wanted to show off the Wading Boots theme song. Again, the soundtrack is glorious. And also, I just got damaged by touching the water there. As I said, piranhas are in the water. The Wading Boots protect you. They're pretty much used for protecting you from any kind of object you can't walk on, you know. In the desert level, there's like snakes or something that you can't touch. And like sinking sand you can't really walk through and stuff like that. And Wading Boots are always good for that. This switch activates a time limit, and when the time limit goes away, the jiggy will disappear, so you do have to be a little bit quick, but you also have to make sure you don't fly off the edge. And, you know, being the N64 with its awkward control stick and the C buttons or the R button to center your camera around, it can be a little bit tricky. Some people may take more time than I do, but I'm showing off, and I had 24 seconds left to go. But there are harder ones coming up during the course of the game, but, you know, that one's not too bad. Help! I like that. The little Jinjo guys that I'm collecting for the one jiggy piece, they always like have these little sound effects. So even if you're not really sure where they are, you might not accidentally, but you might hear a help, help sound, you know? And then you know, oh, a Jinjo's in the area. That's awesome. As for the Jinjos themselves, the only thing I know is that they are oppressed by Gruntilda, and they are a magical creature, rainbow-colored elf race that, you know, they don't like Gruntilda much because she's imprisoned them. Finding them all, they'll give you jiggies, and who knows, maybe they'll pay off later. Foreshadowing, you're the best.
An ugly, hairy trespasser. He's after our gold, but he'll never beat us all!
So, these frogs take 2 hits to kill with a peck, with a somersault. And, you know, they're not too bad. Can't really change the camera here, but every time you kill one, they drop a honey piece, and that'll refill your health rather nicely, so that, you know, don't expect this to be the toughest fight of all fights. It's a fine fight. These frogs have no idea what they're doing. You're too tough for us flibbits to take our gold. Hells yeah. But I rather enjoy Bubblegloop Swamp. It's not too big, you know. The music, as always, I'm a broken record. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again. But the music is so damn good. Bubblegloop Swamp, no exception. Fantastic theme song. Anyway, just like Mumbo's Mountain, there's lots of huts over here in the treetops that you want to ground pound. So feel free to do that. You'll also find a Gruntilda switch here, which will shatter the Gruntilda statue, allowing you to fall through the top and reach the Jiggy inside. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but really, I'm thinking about it. I can't think of any villain who's as gross as Gruntilda, you know? I know there's like Wario from the Mario series, but even he, I don't think, is as disgusting. You know, we don't hear about Wario getting rashes from his bed and being a stripper. I mean, I would not want to see Wario in a thong, you know? I mean, just him in a strip club. Oh, I missed! But, take a look at this! Whoosh! And it's like, oh god! Question, if Wario was a stripper and he was wearing a thong, would the thong be purple or yellow? I want you all to think about this, and I want you to give me your answer. More importantly, what would you want to see color on his thong? Maybe Wario will wear a black thong. Maybe he'll wear a white thong, you know? Wario can be whatever kind of person he wants to be. He's not subjugated to purple and yellow. Sometimes you gotta go beyond what society expects of you. In your stripper thong striptease thing. I don't know what I'm saying. I just wanted to illustrate that Gruntilda is a very gross villain. I struggle to think of a grosser villain, you know? None of the Kremlings in the Donkey Kong Country series were gross. Not horribly so. Bowser's just a brute. He's not really gross or disgusting. He's just a... He's an archaic little monster dragon guy. Dr. Eggman, well, he's sophisticated as all fuck. I mean, he might scratch his ass once or twice in Sonic Adventure 2, but, you know, besides that... Never mind Sonic Riders and his special move when he dashes into people, but, you know... Gruntilda's gross. This area here is not just a statue. This crocodile thing is actually an entrance that leads to a particular Jiggy that you need to transform in order to reach. So we'll be seeing that. But here we have this little turtle guy. He's alive. He's not a statue. He's not a house of operations. But behind him is a Jinjo, so you want to get the wading boots on top of his shell. And we have another Croctus. I believe the final Croctus. Every time you get a new Croctus, the mouth always flips, like, open faster and faster and faster and faster. But, you know, it's not like you're going to run out of eggs anytime soon, I don't think. So, no problem. No problem at all. Stop eating those Jiggies. How do you get those Jiggies out? Do you just, like, regurgitate them or what? Actually, don't answer that, Kazooie. Don't answer that. I don't want to know. Also, you're not real, so you couldn't answer that, unless I'm crazy. But anywho, this turtle, his feet are cold, and for some reason he can't just retract them into his shell unless they're ground-pounded first. So once you do that, the turtle will indeed be happy, and who knows, maybe he'll give us a golden trinket. Yeah, go figure, he gave us a golden trinket. Tank Top's warm at last, yeah. And if you think that's it, oh no. Because there's actually something inside Tank Top. We have to go inside of his mouth and into his inside regions. And what does Tank Top have inside of his regions, inside of his body? Why, he has a turtle orchestra. An a cappella Turtle Orchestra. Yeah, this game makes total sense. What do you think would be inside a turtle body? I mean, come on.
Quiet, please. The famous Tip Top Choir will now perform my latest work. Meh.
So what this minigame is, basically all the turtles will sing in a particular order, and in order to prove that his songs are not short, he challenges Banjo and Kazooie to hit his turtle friends and make them do the exact same musical numbers in the exact same order. So it's a memorization game. You have to really pay attention to what the turtles are doing and ground pound them as such. Also, Tip Top this is actually not his first appearance in a video game, nor is it Banjo's. Because what some aficionados of Banjo-Kazooie or gaming or whatever may not know is that Banjo actually debuted in the game Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing came out before Banjo-Kazooie, and in it, it had a whole bunch of characters. It had Diddy Kong, it had Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day, it had Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie, and Tip Top was also a racer in the game. Tip Top is here, but he was also a racer in Diddy Kong Racing, so that's kind of interesting. I always expected Pipsy and that Badger guy and the Tiger to always show up in one of the Conker Banjo games, but I don't believe they did, unless I completely mistaken them for something else. But, it's just interesting to note that Banjo's first game is not this one. He was actually in Banjo and Kazooie, or he was actually in Diddy Kong Racing first. And, that's interesting. I mean, this is Kazooie's first game. Kazooie wasn't in a game before. But Banjo, oh no, he's been driving around racing against that evil whiz pig long before Banjo-Kazooie. Diddy Kong Racing is fantastic. Probably the best racer on the N64. No, I would say that. It's better than Mario Kart 64. It's better than Mickey Speedway USA. It's the best racer you will find on the N64. Diddy Kong Racing. Check it out. Rareware could do no wrong back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. And there's your honeycomb piece. Jump from the top. There it is. Mumbo token behind him. We've cleared out. We're down here. But still. God, I love Rare back in the N64 days. I mean, they made GoldenEye. They made Diddy Kong Racing. They made Banjo-Kazooie. Like, it's just surprising how many hits they had in so many different genres, you know? Like a racing game, a first-person shooter, a 3D platformer. Rare was seriously on fire in the N64 days. It was crazy. Then they went to Microsoft, and yeah. Oh, and some people have been asking, am I doing Conker's Bad Fur Day? Everyone asks if I do everything. Well, if you like something, why don't you LP it? I've got other games to do. You wonder why I call you kids. Because I read my comments and that's what I see. But look, I got no plans to do a Conker's Bad Fur Day LP, but I do enjoy that game. It was really good. It was not so backtracky like other Rare games. It was pretty linear for the most part, but it was solid. The first M-rated cartoony-looking game I've ever played. Because Conker's Bad Fur Day, despite being in a game called Diddy Kong Racing with Banjo and Diddy Kong, oh, Conker's got quite the mouth on that squirrel. That game is not appropriate for all ages, so I'm going to warn you right now. If you're a parent and you've never heard of Conker's Bad Fur Day, you might want to check it out first before you let your kid play it. There is a giant mountain of poo that you fight in Conker's Bad Fur Day. I swear to you that's true. It's brilliant, but it's also filthy. Really, really filthy. Anyway, Mumbo's Mountain is up behind the crocodile head, and I would recommend making sure that you definitely got every musical note you could find, every jiggy that you could find, before you transform into an animal. Because I always like to do that every time I finish a world, as I always want to save Mumbo for last, just so I definitely make sure that, oh yeah, for sure, I'm not going to be missing anything, you know? So, my playthrough is perfect, and you should know that if you don't have 68 notes by the time you reach this area, chances are you're going to have to backtrack or something. But yeah, it is a time limit. You're running through this, not really a maze. It's completely linear. You're not going to get lost, but the way the camera is, you don't want to dilly-dally. You want to collect the musical notes along the pathway. And if time runs out, well then piranhas are going to start biting at your feet. And that's not good. You do have an invulnerability period, but, you know. This is probably the most annoying Jiggy for me because they give you a 10-second time limit after you hit the switch and this very thin, narrow passageway that even the camera and the way the movement is, it's a little bit awkward, and I've fallen into the swamp below many, many, many times. And then I'd have to backtrack like tons of times in order to get back where I was. But, if you're a little bit calm and patient about it, if you just get the camera behind you, it should be a lot easier to manage. But, I almost fell! I almost fell! That's what I'm talking about. It's too thin! It's too thin a passageway! It makes me nervous. It makes me tug at my collar and go, You can't see it right now, but that's what I did. I have my finger up to my neck, and I'm just like, Go! See you in part 7.